Hello, you're watching New Vision TV. This is news around East Africa. We begin with news coming in from Rwanda. Now, Egypt's national airline, Egypt Air, has launched flights to Kigali. According to officials in Rwanda, the development will boost trade between the two countries. Flights from Kigali to Cairo are scheduled for Fridays and Sundays, while flights from Cairo to Kigali are scheduled for Thursdays and Saturdays, with stopovers at Entebbe International Airport in Uganda. In Kenya, leaders have clashed over Deputy President William Ruto's church donations. The anti-Ruto faction demanded for an audit to discover the source of the huge donations, asking the church to support the war on corruption by questioning the source of these donations. On the other hand, the pro-Ruto faction said there's nothing wrong in public display of generosity. The remarks were made during the Kotu prayer day at St. Stephen's Ark in Nairobi. In Tanzania, President John Pombe Magufuli has re-echoed the commitment by government to work with different religious denominations in the country. Magufuli said that Tanzania has no state religion and that the different religions are significant partners in building a stable society and economy. JPM made the remarks at Mbeya City as he installed the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Mbeya Metropolitan Diocese, Gervais Nyaisonga. In Uganda, the National Drug Authority has given a green light to the use of a new anti-malaria drug in the treatment of the country's leading cause of death. The new drug, Piramax, is manufactured by South Korean company Shinpong Pharm. The firm says it has invested 15 years of research and innovation in the development of the drug. It also adds that the drug is a single dose that is supposed to be completed in 3 days, and malaria patients do not have to fast eat before taking the medicine. News from South Sudan. The South Sudan government has revealed that the political unrest in Sudan is affecting oil production in the world's youngest nation. It is reported that the protesters had closed Port Sudan, which is the only gateway for South Sudan's oil to the international market. However, ruling Sudanese Transitional Military Council dismissed the claim, saying oil production and shipment is ongoing as usual. Away from East Africa, we take a look at what's making headlines elsewhere in the world. We start off with China. At the opening of the second Belt and Road Forum Friday, China's President Xi Jinping said connecting nations that can then work together to create a more prosperous future is one of the central aims of the Belt and Road Initiative. He stressed it is all about forging a global connectivity partnership to achieve common development and prosperity. Nearly 40 heads of state, including Russian President Vladimir Putin, Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, and Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan attended. A total of $64 billion in deals were concluded and signed during the forum. Since the initiative was launched in 2013, trade volume between China and participating countries has exceeded $6 trillion, with investments of more than $80 billion and creation of 300,000 jobs. Uganda is one of the countries participating in Belt and Road Initiative. News from Kuwait. FIFA will hold talks with human rights groups about issues associated with expanding the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, as football's governing body seeks to find at least one more country in the region to co-host the tournament. A sense of hope now abounds in Kuwait following recent attempts to expand the 2022 World Cup. FIFA President Gianni Infantino held World Cup talks with Kuwait's Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Hamad Al Sabah recently in a bid to expand the tournament to 48 teams from 32. Qatar is currently working on a 32-team tournament and is completing 8 stadiums over a 48-kilometer radius. However, FIFA President Gianni Infantino is hoping to secure approval in June to expand the marquee event from 32 to 48 teams. A FIFA feasibility study has already determined that jumping from 64 to 80 games would require 2 stadiums in at least one more country in the region. News from the United Arab Emirates. One of the two men suspected of spying for the United Arab Emirates in Turkey has committed suicide in prison. Reports in Turkey's Haberturk say the suspect hung himself in prison on Sunday. The state-run Anadolu agency has confirmed the death. The Justice Ministry said they believe he used his clothes, his pajamas, to hang himself. We continue to follow developments in Sri Lanka. Now, authorities in Sri Lanka Monday banned women from wearing face veils under an emergency law put in place after deadly attacks by Islamist militants. The measures would help security forces identify people as a hunt for any remaining attackers, and their support network continues across the Indian Ocean island. But there are concerns within the Muslim community that a prolonged ban could fuel tensions in the religiously diverse nation that emerged from a civil war with ethnic minority Tamil separatists a decade ago. Officials have warned that the militants behind the April 21st suicide bombings on hotels and churches that killed over 250 people were planning one more attack using a van and bombers disguised in military uniforms. In Mozambique, the United Nations will grant Mozambique and the Comoros Islands $10 million in emergency funds to help provide food and water and repair damage to infrastructure. The organization said late Sunday after the second cyclone in a month slammed into the region. Now, Cyclone Kenneth crashed into the northern province of the southern African nation Thursday, just as it was recovering from Cyclone Idai that hit further south last month. Idai, the worst tropical storm to hit the region in decades, moved into neighboring Zimbabwe and Malawi, killing more than 1,000 people. Weather experts are warning that Kenneth could dump twice as much rain on northern Mozambique as Idai did. It has already killed 5 people as it unleashed heavy rains and flooding that has seen rivers burst their banks and smash whole villages. In Sudan, Sudanese student Ala Saleh emerged as a singing symbol of the protest movement that toppled leader Omar al-Bashir and now insists she will keep demonstrating until civilian rule is secured. The 22-year-old engineering and architecture undergraduate shot to prominence when a picture of her in a white robe leading chanting crowds from atop a car in Khartoum went viral on social media. Shortly after April the 11th, the army ousted longtime leader Bashir, but since then, a 10-member military council has resisted calls to hand over power to civilians. Every evening, Salah joins the crowd still camped out around the army headquarters in the capital, leading thousands of demonstrators in singing out their calls for change. Portraits of Salah, dubbed Kandaka or Nubian Queen online, have appeared on murals across Khartoum in the wake of Bashir's fall. And that's the latest around East Africa and around the world. My name is Lynn Komjisha. Thank you for watching.